Hey, good day. It's Dan here. I haven't done a video in a little while, so I wanted to get a video done. My wife and kids are out this afternoon, so it's quiet around here. I'm in the office. Was a beautiful day this morning, but the clouds are rolling in, so I'm in the office here. I was just doing some reading here today. I got my latest gold package from the GKIC, Dan Kennedy's organization. If you haven't heard of them, look it up. Amazing stuff on marketing for small business, direct marketing. And he's got a lot of great ideas. You've probably seen me talking about in a previous video his book here, No BS Direct Marketing. Great read. I'm just finishing up some of the examples in the back of the book here today. But what I want to talk to you about today, and I talked to you a little bit about previously, although this expanded on it for me. I talked about creating your vision, your ideal day. Maybe you remember me sharing how I journaled here in my journal, writing out my ideal day. I read a little bit for you so you could get an example of it. Well, in this particular newsletter from Dan Kennedy, the interview is with a gentleman by the name of Rob Berkeley, and he does a program called Vision Days. I believe that's the name of it. And he helps people get clear on their vision for their future. And so in the interview here, I've got the transcript here in front of me. I'm going to read you a few questions that he shares with his clients that help them get clear on their vision. So a few people have asked me about the ideal day process and some of the lead up into that and how to get clear on what your ideal day looks like. And some of these questions I think will help you with that immensely. Just reading through them, I think I might have to redo my vision with a little more clarity just by asking these questions. So what Rob's describing here is a process, and he actually encourages you to take about half hour a day for a couple of weeks and just journal around these questions and the things that'll come up for you. And then the second part of the process is to really get clear, to take all your journaling and get clear on what your vision looks like. Write it out in full detail like I described on that previous video. I'll leave a link below or somewhere in my blog. Somewhere attached to this video, you'll get a link to that other video about my ideal day and that process that I described. But these questions, I think, will help you get clearer on what your vision looks like. So I'm just going to read you a few of these and see what it triggers in the mind. And I really encourage you to take some time and journal on this. Find a quiet spot. Rob encourages you go to a neutral place, a place that's out of your normal environment, not in your house, not in your office. Go somewhere that helps you be creative. Somewhere in nature is probably a great place, or maybe a fancy hotel in the lobby where you can sit in a nice comfortable chair in a corner that inspires you and maybe fills you with a feeling of abundance and opulence. Some of these hotels are amazing, and so you get that feeling of abundance flowing through you as you're writing out what your ideal vision is. If that's a match for you, if it's getting out in the woods in a cabin, then go do that. Find a place in nature that inspires you. But nonetheless, find a place where you can be creative, where you won't be interrupted. You can tune in and tap into your true um, desires, really. And so these questions will help you with that. So here we go. What are the 10 things that you value most in the world? Then ask yourself, how are you doing around those? Are you getting enough of them? Are they lacking? Do you want more time with your family? Is health important to you? How is your health? Actually sit down and journal around that and write about that and think about it. Now, here's some more questions you can ask. What was great about last year? What do I want to pull forward from last year to this year? What do I want to eliminate from last year? I don't want any more of that. What do I never ever want to have happen to me again? Or what do I never want to have to subject myself to again? In 12 months, what would I like to have created, earned, demonstrated to the world? Who do I want to see more of in my life? How are my current relationships working? Have some of my personal relationships not aged too well over time, and maybe it's time to rethink them? Here's another great process that Rob describes, and this is a really powerful exercise. I've done this in the past, or variations of this. And what he describes is to ask 5 to 7 people that know you really well some questions. And one of them is, what do you see about me that's special? And have them write that down in full detail. You'll be amazed at what comes back that maybe is in a blind spot for you, that you take for granted that, everybody knows how to do that. And yet it's a special talent you have and you're just overlooking it. And so getting that outside perspective is powerful. Some more questions. If you weren't afraid, what would you do? In 12 months, what do you want to be able to do differently than you can do now? And that might trigger some of the things that are important to you that you've been putting off. Maybe it's learning a new language. Maybe it's speaking in public. Maybe it's learning a skill, doing an adventure, climbing a mountain, whatever it is. That question will help trigger in you some of these things that you've maybe pushed down and buried for, I'll do that someday. And someday never comes, so maybe it's time to put a plan around that. What sort of things have been following you around lately that surprised you, and why? So this is a question about what things keep coming up in your life over and over that you haven't quite noticed, or you've noticed but you haven't triggered on why that is. Well, that's a clue. The universe is sending you clues. If it keeps showing up in your life, it's for a good reason. So journal around that. Do some thinking on that. Just a few more and then I'll wrap up. And these ones are a little more in line with the perfect day, but these are great questions to ask. What does my perfect work day look like? What time do I get up? What kind of people do I surround myself with? Do I have exciting colleagues? Are they very smart? Do we have fun in the office? What are we creating? What does our office look like? What does my home look like? What will your primary relationships look like? What do you want your health to be like? How much do you weigh? What do you want your physical vitality to be like? What do you want to be like in your community? Where do you want to give back? Do you want to serve in your place of worship? And there's all kinds of questions along those lines that I'm sure you could come up with some of your own, and ask yourself these questions and start thinking about what ideal would look like for you. What do you want your life to look like? Because let's face it, you get to write your own story. You're the one in control. You hold the pen. You get to design your life. So why not put some time into designing it the way you want it to be? Your life doesn't have to be lived by default. You get to choose your path. And sometimes it may not seem that way, but the truth is we control or we influence everything that happens in our life. We either get to respond to what happens to us, or we can be reactionary and go into victim and say, woe is me, life happened to me again. But what I want to encourage you to do is to be proactive. Start designing your life. Start taking the time to do exercise like this and be amazed at what starts happening in your life. If you actually get clear on what you want your life to look like, things will start happening to make it reality for you, because you'll be engaging your subconscious into finding those opportunities that you'd overlook otherwise. Once you get clear on what you want, then you can start moving toward it. Now, part 2 of this process is to design a blueprint about how to make that happen. So it's taking your answers to all of those questions and putting together a game plan on how you're going to do those things. And maybe you don't know all the details yet, but you know how to take the first step. So if it's one of the answers of something you want to be able to do in 12 months is speak a different language, well, then you know you can go and enroll yourself in a course at a community college. You can pick up a book at the library that has learn a second language on CD. You can hire a coach to come to your house and speak that language to you and tutor you on how to learn that language. So there's all kinds of ways that you can move forwards towards your vision. So I don't want to make this video too long. I hope that was helpful to you. I think this is a powerful process. I know I'm still always working on this process in a number of different ways, and I love finding examples like was in this particular newsletter of ways of fine-tuning that process even further. So that's all I got for you today. I hope this was helpful. Leave me some comments below. Let me know what you think. And I look forward to talking to you in a future video. Make it a great day. We'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.